or the New Testament. Sorry, to take you through a New Testament. Today, I want us to look at the canonicity or canonization of the New Testament. Canonization. This is East Africa Institute of Learning, and today we are going to look at the New Testament. Then we break the canonicity. What does the word canonicity mean, and why was it done by the early church apostles? The term canonicity is spelled in English from the original Greek word known as the canon, which means the following. So canonicity means the following: measuring rod or yardstick used to measure the length of the width of a dot or a land correctly, or an instrument used to measure and provide correct, accurate measurements. According to English, that's the meaning. And here we say the term canon refers to the yardstick, the principles, the guidelines, the criteria, the factors they looked at on the correction basis used by the churchly elders to select the 27 books of the New Testament. During the selection, remember, we had almost 66 books in the Old Testament. So time came and they wanted to create a New Testament, and the elders had to sit and analyze, revise, and look at what should we take, and then what should we leave behind. Some books were considered, others were left out, more so those that were not written by the eyewitnesses, those that were not centralizing Jesus, they were left out. So the early church, the canonization, this is the time when they were selecting the 27 books of the New Testament. These are the principles, this is the yardstick, these are the guidelines, these are the criteria they looked at as they were forming the New Testament book. So they say that canonization, therefore, is the process by which the 27 books of the Old Testament were formed and justified as authoritative with perfect information about the news of Jesus Christ. We are going to see why were some books left out, why were others taken, which criteria did they look at when they were selecting the books. So reasons for the formation of the New Testament canon. Reasons for the formation of the canon. There was a need to eliminate false literature, which was accumulating, which was spread, which was circulating alongside the Christian books. Out of the many books which were circulating or which were in circulation, some had false information. So when they are carrying out the canonization, they were pushed by the fact that some books had false information, and they were used in the same areas where right books were together. So books that had false information of wrong literature, they had to be selected and left dumped. So the reasons why they were doing the canonization is to eliminate false books or false literature which was used alongside the right one. The canonization or the canon was formed in order to have manageable and portable volume of books. So there were many books in circulation that would make it very complicated or very hard for the preachers to preach. Reason being, books were many and people could not read them all. So they wanted to summarize the gospel. They wanted to sum the gospel and then they make it easy for the people to read. Another one, there was need to eliminate what we call contraction or contradiction. The many books in circulation were contradicting. There was a lot of contradiction. We call it contra. Maybe let us first put here some correction. Contra. Let me say contradiction. So they wanted to the need to eliminate the contradiction also led to the formation of the New Testament canon. So the many books in circulation were contradicting with one another. One book was saying this, another one was saying this. So they ended up confusing the converts. So time came and the converts got confused. They were like, now what is right? For example, let me give you, it's not on this, but I want to show you some confusion in the books. If you read the book of Genesis chapter 1, which talks about the creation of man, woman, the universe, and filling the earth with other creatures and etc. It is not the same. They have some contradictive information or contradiction in terms of the information, because Genesis chapter 2 has some different information about Genesis chapter 1. Now the converts may get confused. How comes that these two chapters, they contradict, they have differences, and yet they talk about the same thing? So there was a lot of contradiction in the books, because some books were written when people were rushing, so they did not take time to analyze, to read it through, and later all these books had already come to public, so they wanted to eliminate such books. They need to eliminate unnecessary, let me say, unnecessary unnecessary information altogether. Time came when some books were carrying information that was unnecessary. So the elders, as they were electing, as they were selecting, as they were choosing books, they were looking at those books that were carrying information that had meaning. So books that were having information with less meaning, they were left out. At the end of the day, they wanted only those books that had information that could at least be understandable at the end of the day. So some books were having some repetitions. So such repetitions, the elders wanted to eliminate such books that were carrying information that was over repeating, the books with the repetitions, books that were carrying a message that was over repeating. So they wanted to eliminate them such that they don't disturb the readers. Then we have the early church leaders wanted to get a standard book volume for evangelization. They wanted to get a book that is a standard with the simple volume that people can read. You know, when something is having a bigger volume, at times it scares people who are going to read. But once the volume is not that big, then it makes the reading very easy. We say that the church leaders wanted to get a standard volume of a book for easy evangelization. Then they formed the canon to at least eliminate the misinterpretation of the gospel, hence setting up specific standards for what to be included. So they wanted to set up specific standards for at least to see what should be done, what should be taught, what should be preached, and then leave what was unnecessary in order for not burdening the converts. The canon was also formed to preserve the basic Christian foundation doctrines. Some books had avoided the basic doctrines of Christianity, such as salvation, baptism, the Lord's Supper, and among others. So this made the elders to sit down, and then they analyze critically those books in order to make sure that the generation that they were going to preach to gets what we call the first class information. Last, the need to preserve correct scriptures for the future generation also made the canon to be formed. They wanted to preserve right information for the future generation. They never wanted the future generation to get confused like the first one. So this made them to sit down and then critically form the New Testament canon. That is it. And when we come back, we shall look at another thing, the criteria used to select books that we are making the New Testament canon. I beg to submit from here.